Hello everyone, I wish you a happy new year with a lot of success, health and peace. And it might be a good moment to talk about the biggest mistakes when looking for a piano teacher, because many of you ask me on social media, what do I have to look for? Who is the perfect teacher for me? And especially in the new year, many of you might want to start again. Maybe you're someone who has played the piano in the youth and you want to take it up again. You want to practice again. You want to relive it. You want to learn and master new pieces. Or maybe you're an absolute beginner and you don't know how to start playing the piano. Maybe you have tried to learn with some apps before. Maybe you have watched YouTube tutorials or read books. Or maybe you're someone who is already working on his or her piano skills and you just want to polish it and upgrade your piano skills and the level of your playing. So that's why it's important to have a good teacher or a good mentor. And today I will talk honestly with you about what most piano teachers do wrong and what you should look for when looking for a piano teacher. So let's get started. Most piano teachers, which is very sad, are musicians who would have loved to play concerts in their career, but unfortunately cannot because they are not talented enough, they are not hardworking enough, or simply because of other reasons couldn't perform in the way they wished to do so. And then they turn out to go to music school as a piano teacher and work a lot with kids, with beginners, and many of them are pretty frustrated. And that means that they cannot really, give their spark for music, their love for music onto you, because it's simply not what they want to do. And then your progress would stagnate, and they will not motivate you or even have the ideas for you that would be good for you. Then another problem is that many teachers will not give you the music you would love to play. Maybe you're someone who learns really fast and you would love to make quick progress and you want to progress really fast. You want to practice, you want to really do your things, but you teach your things. Okay, in the first year, you're supposed to play this. In the second year, you're supposed to play this. In the third year, you're supposed to play this, and not really look at your talent and your discipline. Whereas you would actually be much faster with your progress if you had someone who give you a bigger goal, a higher goal, some goal that would really motivate you to push forward and to really practice in a disciplined way to learn the skills pretty fast. And it's possible. I've worked with a lot of mentees over the last years, also non-professional pianists, but also professional pianists who increased their level really, really quickly. For example, you might see on my channel also I've worked with Ahmed, an entrepreneur from Turkey, who is in his mid-40s and who has learned from scratch and actually plays already Chopin nocturnes. I've worked with Timo from Germany, who wanted to polish his technique for his entrance exams, and together we learned a system which he can apply also later in his future works, which is really, really great, and he's thankful for that. We can talk about a collaboration as well in the end of the video, but let's go on with the next biggest mistakes that piano teachers do. Another big problem is if the teacher has not worked with the same kind of student, the same kind of customer as you are. You might be someone in 30s, 40s who wants to really master it, but most piano teachers work with kids, so they don't really understand your needs. They would give you pieces for children, or they would not understand the language that you speak, because you might already know some things about music. You might have learned things at school about reading music. You might have also tried playing the piano as a kid already. So you have a very different vocabulary, a different language than someone who is 6 years old and has not heard about music at all. So you need a completely different approach for different kind of people. If you're someone who is retired, you might already know a lot about piano sonatas. You might have gone to a lot of concerts before. You may have listened to a lot of recordings. Again, you need a very different approach than someone who is in his 30s and has not really made so much experience with music, but simply loves the fact that piano playing can give you a lot of pleasure in your free time. Then also many teachers don't look at your needs. We have already discussed that it depends how fast you want to learn and how disciplined you are on how fast you can actually make progress. But not only that, most teachers don't even ask you, what do you want to play in your future? Do you want to play classical music? Do you want to learn film music? Are there any pieces you would love to master in the future? And then actually create the path to get there. Most teachers don't ask you that. They just give you the pieces that they give to everyone. I don't know, because they're too comfortable in their position. And yeah, it really depends on what you want to do, on how the path should look. And that's something that many teachers neglect. So now that we have looked at what teachers don't do right, let's look at the few teachers that do things right. For example, I was very lucky to have really good teachers throughout my life. Of course, the teachers changed and also their demands on me changed throughout my life, but I was always very lucky to have good teachers, and therefore I also want to give you some advice on what you have to look for if you want to improve your piano playing. So one thing, of course, is that you have to feel a personal chemistry. The chemistry has to be right, because you will spend a lot of time with your piano teacher, and if you don't like this person, if it's not someone you would go to a restaurant with in the evening, then it's not a good idea to learn with this person, especially in such a personal subject as music making, because music making is all about emotions and feelings, and if you just don't feel right with a person that will teach you, then there has to be some personal sympathy if you really want to make good progress. Yeah, so the rule is just simply, as I've said, would you go to a restaurant with this person? Would you go to a bar with this person? Would you do private activities with this person? If that's not the case, then simply don't learn with that person. The next thing is, as I've mentioned before, the teacher needs to look at your situation and your needs to see, okay, where do you actually want to go and how do we get there together? It doesn't make sense to put a plan on your playing like everyone else, say, yeah, you have to practice scales here, you have to practice this piece there, simply because it's a process that you're supposed to go. No, you have to know, okay, where does the student actually want to go? And again, the same thing applies to your overall situation. Are you a complete beginner? Are you someone who is advanced? Are you someone who is already in the professional field and you simply want to practice your performance abilities? And also, how old are you? Are you 10 years old? Are you 30 years old, 50, or even 70 years old? The language has to be different, and also the methods need to be different. So that is very important to know. And the last thing is you need to look at the teacher's abilities. Is the teacher someone who plays the way you would like to play? Then probably you should learn from that person. Is it someone who's playing you don't like? Then better not learn from that person. I mean, I've learned from Professor Karl-Heinz Kemmerling, who was not a performing artist throughout his life. So I didn't really know how he would play, but he taught a lot of successful concert pianists. So I kind of knew the reference from there. So either you have to know how does the person play, or you have to know who has the person taught before. So if you can trust the teacher's abilities. And the last thing is, how flexible is the teacher? Is he or she are they working online? For you, if you're a very busy person, you maybe don't want to leave your house all the time, or you cannot because you're busy with your work and with your family. And the last thing is, how flexible are they? Is the teacher someone who is teaching online or maybe very close to your home, because you might be very busy with your work and with your family and you cannot leave your house all the time, or you simply want to practice on your own piano, which is a big advantage if you know the instrument and you don't have to change your habits all the time for a new lesson situation. That's very important. And again, how flexible are they with their schedule? Does it fit your personal schedule, your privacy schedule, your work schedule? And then also you have to look at the price. It doesn't have to be the most expensive teacher, but if the price is too low, you cannot expect good quality. Why? Because the teacher will be too busy working with too many students, will not have time to work on his or her own skills, will not have time to improve and reflect on their methods, and will just be stressed out all the time. And you want to have a good focus on your playing, and therefore the price needs to be, I would say, above average at least. High prices, of course, always better if you can afford that, but that's very important to know as well. So let's sum up quickly. You have to look for someone who is flexible, looks at your needs. You have to look at someone who's playing you admire, or at least who has taught very good students. And that's it, actually. Where do you find your teacher? I mean, there are a lot of online platforms where you can look for teachers. And of course, I'd offer my services to you as well. But first of all, we have to have a call together to find out if and how I can help you in your individual situation. So if you want to do that, then sign up for a free strategy session on aaronpilsen.com/mentoring, or send me a personal message on Instagram, and then we can see if and how we can work together and where we want to go together. Take care and all the best for 2023. Let's crush it with your piano playing.